Hola YouTube, what up? Welcome back to another silver stacking video. Went by the local coin shop today during the lunch break just to find out what was going on. Talk about selling some silver, talk about what it's going to cost to trade in some silver and pick up some gold. Let's do it. So I went by the local coin shop during lunch, ladies and gentlemen, and I picked up about a minute's worth of footage. Going to let it run here in the background while we chat. And you can see, as you can see, some pretty cool stuff. You know, when the spot price goes up, the good stuff comes out. And I just wanted to see what was going on. You know, the shop was very busy, very busy. People, a lot of selling activity going on, and a lot of buying activity going on. I stood in line behind a guy who was buying some silver. He walked out with a pretty good load of stuff. There was another person in the shop off to the side talking to the main owner, right, about some things that he wanted to sell. And so there was basically a line for selling and a line for buying. It was absolutely incredible. You know, just in talking to the people that were there who were working the counter, it's like they were taking things in extremely quickly and selling them extremely quickly. In terms of pricing, like that Engelhard bar you see right there, they were selling it for the same price as generic silver. I mean, a lot of interesting things are coming in, they said, and a lot of interesting things are going out. And they really, they're really not taking some time to identify the collectability of things. It's like, they're just selling it for bullion prices. And bullion prices right now are very, very expensive. I mean, they were selling their generic rounds, generic bars, 10 ounce, 1 ounce, 100 ounce. It did not matter. It was all going for the same price for $32 per ounce. $32 per ounce on the generics. And it was interesting. They had a whiteboard up on the wall there where they had their own prices for their different things. You know, quarter ounce gold, 10 ounce gold, half ounce, 1 ounce American Gold Eagles. Their prices alongside JM Bullion, APMEX, and I think one other major bullion dealer who I don't recall, and there it was just they were just doing some comparative pricing, basically saving people the time to look it up on their phone, and they would update it periodically. When certain bullion dealers were out of stock, they would make that note on their whiteboard chart, which I thought was pretty cool, pretty clever. Obviously, they were just undercutting online bullion prices by just a hair, and they were busy getting the activity. It was, I was impressed with the level of selling and buying that was going on. Very interesting. While I would like to have made a purchase, especially of that Engelhard bar you see there, I mean, wow, that thing is hot. I've got a couple of poured bars here. They don't have that serial number starting with the W there. I've got a waffle back. I think I've got a flat back. Not anything with that particular look to it. Would have liked to have walked out with that Engelhard, but at $320, it's like, I've got those the couple of poured Engelhards that I have. I paid less than $200 for them. So to walk out to pay $320 for that bar, I just could not bring myself to do it. What do you guys think? I mean, would you guys have purchased that Engelhard bar? Certainly it had lots of character, definitely a cool bean. Absolutely it was. But no, I could not pull the trigger on it, not for that amount of money. But hey, let's take a look at the ratios real quick, and I'll tell you what it is that shopkeeper was doing his trades for. As you can see here, the ratio. What is period? This is a 6-month period. I mean, let's go year to date. Let's look at the beginning of the year. Make sure we capture before the pandemic. But here's the ratios in the 80s to 1. 80 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold, not counting premiums. Basically, the amount of money that you would pay for 1 ounce of gold, you can get over 80 ounces of silver. Then boom, 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 just right up in the way. This is just, sort of in the area just after the pandemic there. 122 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold. Of course, nobody was probably wanting to trade you during this time, because that metal was just sort of scarce on what was going on. People were trying to buy silver during this time because silver was so doggone cheap. But it was scarce, hard to find. Now it is very plentiful because people are just bringing it in, selling, and since then we can see the ratio just continuing to drop, and then bang, just an absolute tanking of the gold to silver ratio. Why? Because silver is taking off the spot price of silver. And let's just go to the chart for silver. As you can see here, the chart for silver is just boom, just taking off up and away. Absolutely magnificent. Those of us who have been stacking the precious metal, the white, the silvery metal, are very, very happy right now. So, in talking to the shopkeeper on what he was doing, I didn't want to get rid of my American Silver Eagles, didn't want to trade for those, any of my government bullion really, wanted to keep that. While he was buying American Silver Eagles for a pretty good premium, we've talked about that before in prior videos, the $3-4 over spot. But no, I did not want to get rid of that type of metal at the moment. I wanted to get rid of basically some generic silver is what I wanted to do, some 10-ounce bars, rounds, and sort of talk about that. Of course, maples, Canadian maples, those count as generic silver when it comes to the local coin shop. Got some of that too. He says so long as it's in good shape, not beat up and just damaged looking, he would do a straight ratio to ratio trade for an American Gold Eagle in a 1-ounce size. So, I mean, that's a fantastic deal. And back on the ratio here, let's see, not showing it at the moment. Let's get it on there. Man, if I was in that shop at 69 to 1, wow, that would have been nice. But no, we can see we're just under 72 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold. For generic silver for an American Gold Eagle, that's not too bad. But in my mind, I think I'm going to continue to hold on because just look at the trend. If this trend continues, and I think that it will, if this trend continues, the ratio is going to improve. And with the level of buying and selling activity in that particular shop there, he's going to want to make that deal even next week after that. As the silver price increases, as the buying continues, as the selling continues, because there's people that want silver, ladies and gentlemen. There are people that want their metal. They see the what's going on in the news, the speculation, everything else, and then there's just simply the reality of the money supply and debt just increasing just drastically. So people are buying for that as well. There's the fear purchasing going on, which is legitimate. It is a legitimate, real thing. Do I really want to purchase silver in the $30 range? I don't. I mean, obviously I have my metal, so I'm not worried about it at the moment, not at all. I'm just not. But is it a bad idea to make the purchase right now? That's for each individual person to decide. I can't criticize. I myself picked up 2 ounces of silver, not this particular trip here, but the coin truck man, shot me a text of some things that he had, and had him secure a couple of ounces of silver for me, just a couple of ounces of silver. I'll show that in a different video and tell the story on that one. But the spot price was much lower, and that was kind of nice. I say much lower; it was $25 an ounce. Spot price at the time was $25 an ounce, but still glad to pick up a couple of ounces at that price, especially with what he was charging me, and I appreciate that deal that he gave me on those couple of ounces. He would have let me buy more, but no, quite frankly, I just did not want to. But it's very nice that those 2 ounces that I did buy, I could easily sell or trade in at a higher price right now. Absolutely magnificent. It's just fun. It's just, as a stacker, ladies and gentlemen, it is just fun what is going on right now. But anyway, this video has gone on long enough. Let's switch back to the coin shop footage here. What would you have done? Would you have pulled the trigger on that Engelhard bar right there? Just picked it up, walked out for $320. Maybe pick out a little bit of gold. His fractional gold, he had a bit of a higher price on, even than what was available out in the market from a gold standpoint, because not a whole lot of bullion dealers online actually have fractional gold in stock. As you saw there, he had quite a bit of it and quite a few quarter-ounce pieces, and he was certainly charging a premium for those. But anyway, what do you think, guys? Do the ratio trade at roughly 71.5 ounces to 1 on gold right now, or are you gonna hang on a little bit longer? All right, ladies and gentlemen, just comment below. Talked about a lot of stuff. Let me know what you guys think. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Appreciate you guys watching.